And we are back. So, last we left off, the 2/3 of the Fellowship that are present found themselves in some precarious situations. Marius Wolf managed to flee successfully away from the Temple of Sigmar all the way to the Sisters of Shallyas. And though he was harried along the way and suffered a fairly grievous wound to the back of his leg by something on one of the nearby rooftops.
Queek!
His name was... that was a slip of the tongue. His name was not Queek. God damn it. But something above stabbed him. And you did recover, however, and you managed to take shelter with the Sisters of Shallyas. Bragadine also was with you, and he also successfully made it inside. You had just entered the temple. Meanwhile, Seamus MacLeod was making a mad dash away from Mr. Gold and Oro. In doing so, Three Fingers, the bandit, aided him in his escape, drawing away many of his pursuers. However, Oro, the lumbering ogre working for Mr. Gold, managed to catch up to him, as well as Mr. Catch and Mr. Seek. And while he was able to slip away from Oro, mostly due to the actions of Seek, he was not able to flee successfully from Mr. Catch, as he was just moments from entering Sanctuary, as a net was thrown down upon his person, entangling him and then dragging him out of town. And we are actually going to pick up with Seamus MacLeod. Seamus, you are in a net being dragged at high speed through the main thoroughfare of town. It is still the middle of the night. Nobody's really up, out and about. There are lights at the Silk Canary as you pass it. It sounds like there's raucous laughter inside, even though such the dire kind of somber tone that is kind of hushed over Sealburg after the announcement of 3 of its heroes being burned for heresy upon the next day. You are being drugged at a very high speed, and you will take 6 wounds, Seamus, as you are bludgeoned on your way down. You can, however, subtract your toughness bonus from that.
All right.
And you are drugged all the way to the gate. And it looks like he's not stopping. However, at this point, I will give you an opportunity to try to do something if you have anything you can do.
Probably not, because I was stripped of everything and my hands are manacled.
Yes, they are. So I'm
too weak to break it.
Yes, and as you're moving this direction, you hear him calling out. You hear Ketch above you. Calling out, and it's kind of hard to hear all of his orders that apparently he's giving, because your head is bouncing off of the ground as you're going. You're getting jostled and bruised and beaten, and you do hear him call out Stragani. You hear him call out the witch. And at some point, you hear him call out, "Burn them all." And you are being led deeper into the woods. You now feel soft earth that you are being bludgeoned upon. And you are being led out into the wilderness in the middle of the night, Seamus. Finally, after minutes, Ketch stops his horse, and you kind of just rest there, beaten. He unsaddles himself. He has his pistol drawn. He comes over to you. You're still entangled in the net, so you do have a entangled condition currently. I already got to know. And before he can say much else, you see something out of the corner of your eye. You see a figure in the darkness looking out at the both of you. Ketch doesn't see them. A pale hand gripping, it looks like a bow. It's about 60, 70 feet away, out in the woods. And it's aiming in the both of your direction and drawing. You hear Ketch still speaking to you. I already got what I needed from that Bretonian, but I figured, what the hell? Maybe you and me can have a quick chat.
I'll spit at him. It's like, fuck off, Ketch.
That wasn't very nice. Headsman. What kind of name is that?
What kind of name is Ketch?
Well, and he points, he kind of motions at the net that you are currently tangled in. Seems rather fitting, doesn't it?
My boot will be rather fitting up your ass when you let me out of this.
And I need you to give me a charm test. Or an intimidation test. I'll let you pick.
Oh, all right.
And this is going essentially at this point, since you have not mentioned or even motioned that there is a figure in the darkness, this is kind of a keeping Ketch's attention. So just go ahead and roll me which one, and then tell me which one you're using.
All right, we'll do intimidate because it's slightly higher.
Okay.
It's a 29 out of 35 with the exhaustion.
Out of 35. Okay. All right. You, as your threat is rather forcefully kind of bellowed out towards him. He draws his knife, that green blade, the one that cleaved through Marius, though you didn't see it happen, but you do see a shimmer and the strange runes going across it, Seamus, as he brings it down and in one quick motion slices through the net, freeing you. He then takes the pistol, and he's still standing above you. You are currently prone. And he levels the pistol towards you. Now we're going to have a nice long chat, you and me. But first, you're going to take me to her.
Take you to who, exactly? There's lots of hers I've known.
You know who. You know what she did to me.
I think I know who you're talking about.
He takes a few steps back. Stand up, head taker. Lead the way.
I will stand up and start walking back towards the city.
Towards the city? Okay.
Yes.
You turn on your heels and begin walking, and he looks puzzled at first. You sure you know where you're going, MacReady?
Yeah. You said you wanted me to take you to her. Sounds like you need me more than I need you right now.
Okay, now you will give me a charm test.
Oh, shit. That's a 2 out of 31.
I rolled like dog shit, too. So, that's it. Okay. He obviously doesn't trust you, but he he can't necessarily pick out your lie currently. And he begins following you back towards the city. You glance to your left, Seamus, over your shoulder, and you see the bow that was drawn taut, loosened, and then the figure disappears into the woods.
Would I be able to figure out what that is, or would I just have no idea what that was?
It would be tough. So I'm going to go with no. You could tell it was a humanoid figure, more than likely a person, judging from, you did see a bit of the hand, and it was very pale. But yeah, it was too shaded for you to get definite anything else. So.
All right. So yeah, I'm taking him back. I'm taking him back to the city.
You're taking him back to the city. Okay. You begin moving back towards the city. Is this a casually stroll, or?
Yeah, I guess once we get to the city, I'll probably be more casual. Maybe a little bit of a quicker pace while we're out in the woods.
Okay. As you're walking back,
but not.
Ketch is he begins to kind of somewhat interrogate you, kind of asking you when's the last time you met her. What was she like the last time you saw her? Things of that sort. He's fishing for information, essentially. Do you give anything away?
I'd be very general. She's old. It's been some time, a couple years maybe.
And at some point, Ketch begins to... Well, let's just see. I need you to give me one more charm test as you are approaching you're beginning to approach the clearing that leads to the outside of town, that leads straight to the gates.
It's a 24 out of 31.
Okay. Seamus, and you're doing this kind of walking, so it takes you considerably more time to walk back, and he's actually leading his horse behind you with the pistol pointed at your back. And you hear him kind of mumbling, talking. Oh, soon, very soon. And you start to hear noises from up ahead, Seamus. You hear screams, people crying out. Women, men, and you see the glow of fire. As you pass into the clearing off the main path, the main road, you see the Stragani camp burning. The fanatics from the city are very zealously and vigorously tearing through these people, butchering them with no remorse. Several of them are being dragged off, and it looks like they're going to be dragged off for who knows what. But most of them are just beaten to death where they stand as their caravans are burned. And as you enter that
I'll look.
clearing, you see all this unfold and catch. Well, do you glance back?
Yeah, I'll kind of look to him. Just like, how long have you been with your friends?
You see there's a insidious smile on his face, watching the flickering firelight of the caravans burn. You see him almost, it looks like almost unintentionally, he begins to rub his right arm that isn't holding his pistol. He begins to kind of rub it against his leg. And you can see the bandages are bleeding. Those bandages that are wrapped around his forearms. Well, it's been a long time. Since about the last time you saw me, in fact. He caught me not too far outside of Sealberg. Cole, that is. Said he could help me with this. But all he's been able to do is stop the spread. Oh, I'll find out how to stop it. I'll find out if it's the last thing I do.
Is that why you're looking for her? Is to stop that?
And he looks at you, tilts his head, Seamus. He holsters his pistol, reaches over, and pulls the bandages from his right forearm. And you can see that he has open wounds all across. It like almost circles around his arm. And it looks like it is, the flesh is pustule and inflamed red, raw, wet. And you see symbols etched into the muscle itself. And it looks exactly like the brand that was pressed into Marius, and I believe also Seamus's flesh by Mother Inga herself, oh so long ago, when you were asked, or more so destined, to take down Tarkak the Unclean. Or the Unfilled, excuse me. But yes, and it appears to that this wound has never healed. It has been with him this entire time. I will be free of this curse.
Yeah, that is rather ugly.
You don't know the half of it. What do you know? And he's starting to get a little, a strange little twinkle in his eye, Seamus.
Well, I guess we better hurry on then.
I've got a feeling. You're not leading me in the right direction. I don't know, some might call it intuition.
You can call it what you want, Ketch, but you don't know where she is, and I do.
Maybe she'll come when I start flaying the skin from your face. And we're going to cut away from Seamus McCready in this moment. And we're going to pass on over to Marius Wolf. Marius.
All right.
Oh, Marius. You're inside the appears to be some kind of storeroom. And Bragadine is, yes, it's just right around the corner here. The sister Abigail here, she's quite good with her hands, if you know what I mean, Marius. you know how it is. She's given me once over more than yeah. This way.
Please, the way.
Of course. And he kind of leads you ahead. And it's very quiet. You do hear soft moaning of more than likely the infirm, probably a few patients. And there is a sister Shallyas, one of the holy sisters, is up and about, and she has a candelabra, and she looks startled to see the three of you. Shallyas, mercy! And of course she sees Bragadine. Bragadine, we told you to use the front entrance. What are you doing? Well, I mean, it's been a hell of a night. Can I have my usual room? This way. What about... And then she glances over and sees you, Marius, holding... I'm assuming you're holding Father Leiter kind of in front of you, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. More of a more caring kind of bundle. And...
Yeah.
She sees him.
Sister.
Oh my. And she begins to call out for the matriarch.
Yep.
For Selena. And the matriarch appears after a few moments. You are ushered into a side room, and Father Leiter's placed on a bed, and she immediately begins praying over him. He's weak, extremely weak. He reaches out and grabs a hold of your wrist as you're standing there, Marius. It's firm for as weak as he is. Marius. Thank you.
I am so sorry, Father.
You have nothing to be sorry for, my son. Who was that? That foul thing? That abomination?
Don't worry, Father. I will see to them. I will see to them all.
You don't understand, Marius. You don't understand what he is. What it is. You will need...
Father, us?
That thing is no man. And he's shaking.
Yeah. A demon, then.
I don't know what it is.
Spawn of the dark gods.
He kept me in that room. Kept me alive. He came. Every moment I felt so weak. I felt like I was going to die. I was going to finally fall into Sigmar's embrace. He'd bring me back. He'd bring me back, Marius. He would take things from me. And as you're looking him over, you see he has deep, it looks like, scars across most of his skin as much of his robe has been stripped away. The sisters have been working over him. And there is an unnatural glow from where the matriarch has her hands over his chest. And the glow appears to be bringing more color back to his center. But it's not spreading very far.
Marius is probably just getting angrier and angrier as he's hearing the what was done to Father Leiter. Ben Affleck level rage, you know.
Yes,
So-
Ben Affleck, of course.
Is there? Well, I guess Marius would try to. Major Selena, can I assist you? Can I find other sisters? Is there anything I could do?
No, Marius, I think this might be all I can provide for him. If Shally is merciful, and Sigma lends him strength, he may live through this, but I fear there's not much we may be able to do. It'll be in the gods' hands.
Marius will probably. I will pray with you, and Marius will get down and start praying to Sigmar and probably Ulrich.
Okay,
His
all
two
right.
gods usually that he prays to. So.
Yeah, you begin praying to them. As you are praying, Father Lichter, he can corrupt you, Marius. Be careful. He's old. So very old. And I fear he wants you. He wants Seamus. He wants someone else, some foreigner I've never heard of. He talks about you, the three of you. He talks about horrible things. Horrible things he's going to do to you. I'm glad to be free. Be careful, Marius.
Marius will just kind of put his hand on Father Lichter.
You put your hand onto his hand.
I'm sorry, Father Lichter. I should have done more for you and the rest of this town. I've failed. Decisions I made I thought were right. I should have focused more here. I will kill this thing. I will kill his friends.
Yes. Yes, you will. I think it's time, Marius. I hear his call. Peace be with you, Marius. May Sigma
Marius is
guide
just holding
you.
on and praying while he's doing that, yeah.
And after a moment, you hear the last grasp of Father Lichter as he falls cold and still.
Marius should probably stay there for a little while longer, praying to Sigma and Ulrich, Shallyas, anyone who will listen.
Mm-hmm. The matriarch is re-entered the room at this point. She sees you praying, doesn't say much, but you feel her presence. You can hear her muttering a few of her own prayers, in fact. And then you hear something outside, Marius. You hear a bit of a scuffle. And then you hear a shriek, like a teenage girl crying out, startled.
Is it bragging?
You peek your way out into the hall, and you see a crumpled braggadine on the floor. And a woman a smaller woman standing above him that has a pistol, a heavy pistol in her hand. It looks like she cracked him over the top of the head. She's wearing a hood, black leather clothes. She sees you peek out, and immediately the pistol draws in your direction. She's about 30 feet from you, Marius.
Is there anything around me right now? Like a chair or a table?
There would be a chair. Yeah, there'd be a chair in the corner next to the bed. The matriarch looks extremely startled. There could be no violence in here. What are you doing, Marius?
Marius releases his grip from the chair.
Okay.
And says, only because this is a sacred place. I will crack your skull open right now.
And it's dark. It's dark in here. But
I'm trying to do an intimidation.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me an intimidation check.
Okay. That's going to be a 31 out of 70.
Okay. Very good. You see her falter a little bit. The aim kind of lowers. But at the sound of your voice, you see the pistol drop. Mr. Marius? Is that you?
Can I see her, with my night vision?
A little bit.
A little bit.
The hood is deep, and she's looking out.
I need you to explain very quickly what you're doing in here.
I'm looking for Mr. Seamus. He was supposed to meet me here.
How do you know Seamus?
Let's just say we go way back. He hasn't come.
Not an answer. And I'll step forward closer to her.
You step forward. She retreats a few steps back. We're not enemies, Marius. We want some of the same things.
Looks like we are. And I kind of point down to Braggadine. You hit my friend.
Well, he tried to...
In a holy place.
It wasn't my fault. He was trying to grab a hold of me.
I kind of step in front of Braggadine and her, try to shield him.
Yeah, and she is backpedaling this whole time, keeping distance from you. Just tell him when you see him that I'm sorry for everything.
Who are you?
Call me Three Fingers.
I would recognize Three Fingers, right?
You would.
The name
as the bandit, apparently queen, that nobody knew, that Seamus never told you about this entire time. And she has quite the reputation. There's a very large bounty. There's bounty posters around town for her. A considerable sum on her head.
Seamus hasn't tried to kill you.
No, he hasn't, but...
The reward is very large. I've heard of you.
I assume most people have, but time is short. If you see him before I do, tell him to meet at this one's house at noon. And she motions down towards Braggadine.
Yeah. Come closer, let me see you.
Oh, I can't get too close to you, Marius. I know your potential all too well. And I can't have you stopping me now.
I will not harm you in this place.
And her back
Try to charm.
Yeah, go. You can give me a charm test. Her back's up against the door at this point.
Does she find me attractive? Question.
She would. She would.
What?
Hell yeah, bro!
Bullshit.
This is one of the only times I can use it. I'm so excited.
This is bullshit.
That's a 47 out of 53.
Okay.
So it's kind of like basically if I can use, if it works, I can use the 7 success levels.
Yes. All right. It does work. Barely. She has a very ironclad will. With the subtle difference between the success levels here, here's what happens.
Okay.
As you see the door behind her begin to crack open as she's beginning to slip out. And her hood begins to slide from her face. You see gray eyes. A scarred face. Pretty, but scarred. She's missing an eye. She has an eye patch over her left eye.
Damn.
Ooh, badass.
And you see a mark on her cheek that looks like she's tried to cover up with some kind of makeup or something of the sort. And it looks like it's in the shape of a bone-like dagger with a triangle behind it, but it looks like it's been seared into her cheek. You've seen this symbol before. It is the same symbol that you saw on the dagger that was embedded in a beastman very, very long ago that you recovered in your first adventure. This is how long ago that you saw this ago, but you'd be able to recall it.
Yeah,
it's a very unique symbol.
Yeah.
So you'd recognize that immediately. You would also recognize it as the tattoo you saw on one of the men that assaulted Bragadine. Back when Mr. Gold had sent some people after him, and his manuscript was lost and then found. You see that. And something about her does look familiar, but you can't quite place all of it together.
Before she, I guess, walks out the door.
Yes.
His last kind of words to her is, "Do I know you?" And yeah, that's all I say.
As she's slipping out, she says, "I think so. Tell him Mr. Gold will be waiting." And the door closes.
I guess Will breaks the chair and hangs up.
Ben Affleck intensifies.
Enough like intensity right there.
So that happens. At this point, after all of that has taken place, you just found out that she was supposed to meet Seamus here and he's not here. Bragadine's unconscious. One of the sisters volunteers to watch him.
He's unconscious?
Yes, he's unconscious. She bashed him over the head. He's unconscious. And he screamed like a little bitch before he went down. So there's that.
Damn!
He was dragged into the room, and he's being tended to. I mean, he's a regular here. They know they're used to this. He almost has his own room at this point. So, but
yeah, some venereal diseases. I'm sure.
Yes.
Selena, I'm sorry to ask for this, but I need you to try to make me better. I'm going to need my strength for what I'm about to do.
Of course, Marius. And you're led into a room, and let's see what you get. Very good. Okay. You recover 9 wounds as the matriarch herself begins to work upon you. Do you have any exhaustion? Just one?
I do have a single point of exhaustion.
Okay, you would also recover the 1 point of exhaustion.
Does she take a look at my tendons?
She looks at
or
them.
the hole in my chest.
Yes, the hole in your chest would be imperative. Let's see here. Very good.
Wounds right now.
Yeah, the wound on your chest is looked at. Give me the specifics of what that wound was, real quick.
Well, you said it was pretty clean through and through. There wasn't like it was a shot from the.
Oh
the
yes,
gun,
yes. Yeah, that one doesn't have lasting effects because of the nature of the wound, so you're fine on that one.
Okay.
The one on your leg, however, the tendon. She looks at it and she kind of applies a salve to it, and she basically tells you that in a day. So after your next long rest, it should be back to normal.
Okay. Do I lose any corruption?
You do not lose any corruption.
Son of a bitch! Damn.
Enjoy your corruption.
Damn it.
Enjoy it.
Never!
Let it soak in.
Let it soak into your very soul.
Oh, Marius is a good person.
So, with that being said, I need to know what you're going to do, Marius, at this point.
So I have a clue that Seamus isn't where he's supposed to be.
He's not where he's supposed to be.
So, but I understood that she has talked to him recently.
You could probably intuit that. I'd say so. Yes.
I mean, I would assume so. Yeah,
yes.
Okay. Gosh. Marius will. Do I hear the also question?
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm inside.
Mm-hmm.
No. Wanton murder and burning.
Yes.
Do I hear
the butchering of the Stragani at the hands of
yes.
Mr. Bonneau? Go ahead and give me a perception test.
Sacrificial lambs. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I don't get 92. So
you don't hear much right now. You basically the only thing you're hearing are the sobs of actually a few of the sisters themselves as they're attending to the body of Father Lichter. He was a holy man, and though the sisters' coven wasn't established when you were here, when Father Lichter was here, it was, however, established shortly after. And so they spent a fair amount of time with him before he supposedly died, only to find out that he was not dead, and now he is again. And it brings up some old wounds, and many of the sisters are holding vigil in his room at this moment.
Mm-hmm. Well, if that's the case, Marius is going to is if I exit this building, the Temple of Shalya, you had mentioned that it's kind of on the way to the barracks or the living quarters.
Yes.
Of the
Yeah, they're not very
company.
far.
Mm-hmm.
Bracketing's bold, men.
Yes. Do they know? They know Marius, right?
Oh, yes. Yes. As a matter of fact, you helped train them at some point.
Okay. Is there like a lieutenant or sub commander or
There is a
captain?
a man that goes by the name of Jacques.
Jacques,
He doesn't use his last name, as far as you know.
Okay.
And he is of middle age, and he was a man at arms, but he has really taken to leadership in a way that many of the other men haven't. And he's almost like a sergeant, kind of, when it comes to the rest of the men. Unfortunately, the way the Bold Company is set up, Bragadine is the commandant, and everyone else doesn't have much when it comes to what is happening, just due to the nature of how he set it up. But there is this man that many of the other men in his company do look up to.
Okay. Well, if I'm kind of all healed up, before I leave, please, Selena, please take care of Bragadine there. He will need all your works.
I always do. Before you go, take this. And she hands you a clay flask. This will... This will prevent you from being too injured. May Shalya have mercy on your soul.
Thank you, sister.
And you are held in this clay flask. Clay flask contains 5 uses of a healing potion, essentially.
Ooh, yeah. All right.
It is water blessed by the Sisters of Shalya.
Okay. So I use the back entrance.
Yes, of course, Mace. And she motions over to one of the younger sisters, who takes her candelabra and leads you to the back. It's easier. I mean, you could see well enough as it is, but they don't realize that. Not many people have adapted night vision. But she leads you to the back and opens the door. Number one, the first thing you notice is there's no lock. There's no locking mechanism on this door, which is unusual for most places. But apparently, now that you think about it, there isn't any way to bar the front door either. At least no forethought has been put into barring the door. Almost as if they completely implicitly trust everyone that is allowed to enter into the temple itself. The door is opened, and the sister nods her head and mutters a prayer as you step out into the cold night's air. And we are going to flip over to Seamus McCready.
Mm-hmm.
Seamus, Ketch just threatened to peel your face off with his knife.
Mm-hmm.
He has a pistol pointed at your head. He is 10 feet from you, Seamus. You are still currently shackled, bruised, beaten, exhausted. The Stragani are being burned and murdered around you. What would you like to do, Seamus?
Does he have both weapons out, the dagger and the pistol, or just the pistol?
He has the pistol in his left hand. His right hand is moving towards the dagger on his hip. His hand is on the hilt. It's not currently drawn yet.
Well, You can go ahead and kill me now, Catch, but we'll never find her if you do.
I don't think you're telling the truth, Mr. Seamus. I think that you're full of horse shit. And Seamus.
Huh?
In the dim darkness, you see a flash. And then suddenly there's an arrow sprouting from the shoulder of Mr. Catch, the one holding his pistol. As he, ah! And his pistol drops to the floor, or to the dirt, in the mud.
Oof.
And he flinches back away and looks over. There is a man standing at the edge of the clearing, about 100 feet away, with a bow. You recognize the beard, the structure, the hair, the crazed kind of tattooing, blue, that has been scrawled across his body, and his eyes that are completely white and vacant. And he's holding the bow in his hand, having just recently planted an arrow in Mr. Catch's shoulder. At this point, we're going to roll initiative.
Yes. Oh shit, that's a good initiative. It's a 14.
Okay, all right. Okay, Seamus, It is your turn.
Did I see Catch load the pistol?
You did not see him load it. You could probably assume it's loaded. But you didn't see him load it.
Is he still 10 feet away from me?
Yes.
Then I will... Since he dropped the pistol to the ground, I'll run over and pick it up.
All right. If you pick it up, you are going to be within melee range of him.
Mm-hmm.
Just so you know.
Mm-hmm. Shit, I don't have a lot of hit points. I don't know how this is going to work, so we're going to try it. Since I'm still manacled, since his back is to me, I'm going to run up behind him and start to strangle him with the manacles.
Okay. All right. Okay. Go ahead and give me an attack roll. This will be just a straight weapon skill test because you don't have any proficiency with your bare hands.
Nope. We're gonna No Country for Old Men this right here. It's a 29 out of 25.
Okay. You go to you run towards Catch and you go to loop the chain around his throat. And I'm going to give you one thing because it was so close. He ducks out quickly from underneath. The chain passes through. However, Seamus, he stumbles away from you, clutching at the arrow. And I will say you will have nicked the arrow and caused him pain. And he begins to flinches back away from you. So you're not technically engaged at this point.
All right.
You still have your free action, and then you have 30 more feet of movement.
I assume I probably can't tackle him with the free action.
No, you cannot.
At least knock him to the ground. In that case, then I will probably kind of stand over the pistol.
Mm-hmm. You can grab it with a free action if you want to.
Okay, yeah. If I can grab it with a free action, then I'll grab it with a free action.
Okay, you pick up the pistol quickly, kind of aim it in his direction. You can't shoot it yet, but it's aimed.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that ends my turn.
Okay, you just want to stand there? You don't want to move anywhere?
Yeah, did he get like knocked like 10 feet away?
He's not prone.
15?
He's about 10 feet away from you. Essentially, he kind of stumbled backwards away from you. I will say, all around you, you're not in the center of the Strigani camp that's being massacred right now, but you're on the edges of it, and seeing this happen. You notice that there are several fanatics that are currently butchering people in your near vicinity. Nothing has happened with them yet, but something might happen soon. That's what I will say for now.
And I'd probably just back up like 5 more feet, just because I know the pistol's not going to have that great a range.
Are you backing up back towards town, or is there a particular place you are looking to run towards, is what I'm getting at?
Yeah, I mean, eventually my goal is to make it back towards town, so if my back is towards town, then that's the way I back up.
All right. I just want to make sure. So, so you're moving in the direction back of the gate. So you begin to back away from Mr. Catch. It is now someone else's turn. And the thrall of Mother Inga plants another arrow in Mr. Catch's chest as he flinches backwards with another arrow sticking out of him. And then you see the figure disappear into the woods, Seamus. It's now Catch's turn. He looks up at you, grabs a hold of the arrow in his chest, and breaks it free. Breaks off the end of it, so it's just the head sticking in. This isn't over, McCready. This isn't over. He turns around and runs back towards his horse. Free action. Mounts his horse, and then as action, he is going to dash his horse towards the city.
Is he coming at me? Is he going to run me over?
He is going to try to run you over in the process. All right. So I need you to make me a dodge roll.
Uh-oh.
Oof, that is a 10 out of 22.
Okay. Seamus, you do manage to dive to the side into the kind of mud. You don't hit gracefully, but you do manage to get out of the way as the horse lumbers through the space that you just were, and he takes off at a very quick pace into the city. You see him head through the gates, and as he's moving, you hear him call back, "Kill them all! Bring me the headsman's head!" And you see several of the fanatics stop butchering the people they're butchering and turn around and look at you, Seamus.
Oh boy.
It's now your turn again, Seamus.
Ooh, alright. Are any of them in the way of my escape?
There is a single fanatic in your direct line of escape. The rest of them are in the town, or in the caravan, and are currently stopping their bloody massacre and are looking up towards you.
All right, I'm gonna shoot that. I'm gonna get within range, shoot them, and then take off running.
Okay,
town.
go ahead and give me a shot.
That is a 14 out of it's regular black powder.
Jesus.
51.
Yeah, about to say it's going to be impressive. This is a pistol. So what would your normal damage be with your pistol?
My pistols are 9 plus the success, so that's 24, 34, 54. That's 12. And it's an even number, so does it penetrate?
He's not wearing any
it's on
armor.
zeros?
These guys are like,
Okay.
yeah, they're like flayed men. They essentially, they're barely wearing pants even, and most of them have what looks like a scripture that has been nailed into their flesh. They use flails as their weapon, and they use it to scourge themselves when not in combat. So their skin is scarred and usually bleeding openly, and they are indeed insane. But yes, so no armor.
All right. Is he dead? Did he die?
Well, how much damage was it?
12.
12 damage? Okay. That is significant. I'm not going to lie. It's not enough to kill him in one shot. However, it wouldn't normally be enough to kill him with one shot. You see the round leave, and there's a green streak that leaves the barrel. And it passes into the man's, you said, what did you roll originally?
A 14.
14. Okay, passes through kind of his left kind of pec, kind of shoulder area. And it passes through, oh yeah. You see the flesh begin to move, and he screams out as the top side of his shoulder splits open, and the edges of this massive wound become serrated teeth, and a tongue licks up out of his own body and wraps around his throat and snaps his neck as his corpse quickly is beginning to mutate, giving you time to run past as you were moving into town.
As I run past, my free action, I'll yell out, Sigmar protects you, and continue running.
Okay.
Very, very mockingly.
Very mockingly, yeah, mocking Sigmar. It's good. It's fantastic, Seamus. Fantastic. As you run past, and at this point, Marius, you will see a man on a horse riding quickly down the center thoroughfare into town. From this distance, you can't tell exactly who it is. It looks like they have an arrow sticking out of their shoulder, though. Mm-hmm. And they're screaming out in an authoritative voice. What are you doing?
I'm not still in the courtyard, I guess.
You are in the main courtyard of
Temple?
the Temple of Shallyas. Yes.
Okay, and they don't.
You're on the back
they ran
side,
past me,
though.
they didn't see me.
You are on the back side,
Yeah,
though,
yeah.
so you're obscured from view.
Okay. I would, probably try to find Seamus, or, so if I'm going out there, trying to find Seamus, or try to get to the barracks.
Okay.
The living quarters.
The barracks are moving in the direction of the gate, so this is going to work out very nicely. Do you let the man pass?
Do I have an? I'm sorry, I didn't think I had an opportunity. If I didn't know who if I didn't see that was Catch, I don't know what I would do.
Okay.
I think here.
Yeah. What I'm getting at is, are you waiting for the rider to pass, or are you going to just try to quickly dart across the thoroughfare?
Most likely wait for him to pass. I don't have anything right now I could probably do to him. So. Yeah.
Okay. And he's moving at a fast pace. You could tell he's really riding this horse. And I'm assuming you're kind of lurking, kind of at the back of the temple, waiting for this person to pass quickly. And as he gets close, you see Catch. He looks like his teeth are gritted in a grimace, blood kind of streaking across his leather armor. But he's moving at such a quick pace that by the time you can identify him, he's already moving past. Do you pursue, or do you go to your other objective?
Probably go to the other objective, most likely.
All right.
Question.
Yes.
The way I assumed it and it's probably wrong, but I assume that the number of fanatics, are there more fanatics now than there used to be? I assume there was like a handful.
There are much more than there used to be.
Okay.
Many, and the thing is, they all kind of they all look like they do the same kind of flagellant, kind of decree or whatever. But you can tell the difference between the ones that were here before and the ones that are here now.
Okay.
The ones that apparently came with the witch hunter they just seem a little bit more zealous, if that's even possible.
Mm-hmm. How many? Do I have an estimate on how many?
Rough estimate. You saw when you were coming in, when you were being marched with them, and this is no guarantee. This is all of them. You saw at least 30 fanatics.
Woo! Fuck. All right. All right. Yeah, then Marius is probably going to head towards the barracks. Probably not going to try to start a fight in the middle of town.
Okay. You begin. You begin moving in that direction. As you're moving down the street, you see a shackled man, hobbling his way. And I will say, Marius, you're moving at half speed, so you're not moving quickly. Yeah. But you do see the headsman, Seamus McCready, kind of making his way into town.
Yes!
Seamus, I think I just saw your handiwork.
Wasn't mine, Marius, but I'm late for a meeting.
And as he says that, you see several fanatics streaming through the front gate.
Oh, shit.
Damn. Is there a chance to... Are we close enough to a barracks where I could call out? Or is it...
The barracks is further in. You're going to have to go into the poor quarter to get to it.
Okay. So, the fanatics are coming where I want to go, right?
No, they are not. They're coming from the front gate.
Oh.
You were like right at... You're still on the main road. You can easily move into the poor quarter, but you will have to move into the quarter and then go to the barracks, is what I'm saying.
Okay, then I will do so. Is Seamus with me right now?
Currently, you guys are together. Seamus, are you following?
Yes, because strength in numbers.
Yeah, and Seamus is still manacled, shackled even. He's still chained. So, just throwing it out there, Marius.
Looks like shit. But he has a gun in his hand.
Yeah.
He does have an empty pistol.
There's not time enough for me to break these chains.
Okay.
So.
All right. We are in our last skill challenge, probably, of the night. As we are doing it again. As the fanatics are in hot pursuit of Seamus McCready. Giving direct order to do so. I'm going to need the two of you to tell me that we're going to need a series of tests here. I need 6 levels of success to make it to the barracks. Cumulative.
Okay.
It is cumulative. If you have 3 levels of failure, cumulative, something bad will happen each time. So just throwing it out there.
Like
so,
a failure in general.
yes, any failure.
Okay.
As soon as it gets up to 3 levels of failure, something bad's going to happen. So we will continue from there. So, first up, what are you guys going to be doing to get to this barracks?
Marius never told me where we were going. I'm just following him.
Okay, well, then in that case, we'll start with Marius.
Marius is probably just going like, we need to get to the barracks quickly. And I'm kind of hobbling along. If there's something I can like throw down, as far as like knock down to like obscure our.
I will say there's
just, like, obscure our path.
Yeah. Okay. All right. There is. I mean,
Very
you've been in the port
style.
quarter before. It's very like jagged, kind of tight alleys. You're traveling through a lot of alleys tonight. But the houses are all, that strange, well, not really strange, that kind of fetid wood and very poorly made. So there is debris and there's shit that you can easily obscure your path with, if need be. How are you going to do it, though? Are you going to, like, rip something off a wall? Are you going to, just how exactly are you going to
whatever
do it?
I can. If there's, like, refuse or trash or something I can...
Okay.
break off and throw in there, whatever's available, I guess.
All right. I'll tell you what. Go ahead and give me... I don't want to make it too easy on you now.
Let's make it a strength check, bro.
See, I know what you're fishing for. Let's go. We'll make it a strength check. We'll see how this goes.
Hell yeah, bro. All right. Oh, shit. That's a 44, bro, out of...
No.
Does that count as 2? Or
That-
3 successes?
That will... what's the total?
Is that a 70?
Out of 70?
So 44 out of 70.
64.
Yeah.
64. Yeah. All right. So 2... I'll double it, so I'll give you guys 4. I'll give you 4 successes for that, since it's critical.
Hell yeah.
Which is... I mean, that's... Yeah, you're already halfway there. More than halfway there.
Am I Samsoning something, bro? Am I, like...
Yeah, go ahead.
pushing down columns, bro? Am I
No,
pushing down
you're not
columns,
you're not
bro, like
Samsoning
Samsoning?
completely. You're not
You just knock the whole house over.
No. I will say though, as you're moving, you grab a hold of a poorly made door that's kind of open to one of these shanty kind of shacks. And as you pull it free, you pull just too hard and you take a piece of the wall with it. And as you do, the roof spills inward, and you hear somebody out inside, "Oi! As the roof caves in, and the side of the house just kind of completely piles in front of the pathway that you just went into, completely blocking the path behind you. Unfortunately, the poor quarter is a honeycomb of passages, but you have significantly delayed your pursuers. So
I'll tell me sorry. I'll buy you a new one. And,
yeah, of course. At this point, Seamus McCready, what are you doing to help move forward?
We've never been to this barracks before.
You would have been to it at some point, so you would both know the way. Especially since Marius kind of just shouted out that that's where you're going. So,
Okay. I guess it's probably just trying to find like how to get there. If we're on like the path that takes us there, if we need to go over like 2 more rows since it's this maze of shanty towns.
It is true. You can give me a
know,
perception test. I know what you're fishing for as well.
Well, I was fishing for intuition.
Intuition? Okay, yeah, we can do intuition.
Yeah. All right. That is a 31 out of 35.
Okay, so that's 1 more success level for you guys. And you begin moving and you're moving faster than Marius. Marius is actually slowing you down a bit. You glance around, and you think you've got the path. You have to cut through one more of these little side passages, and then you'll be on the next row of shanties over. That's going to lead you to the makeshift barracks that Mr. Gold has set up for Bragadine's bold men. And you have successfully navigated that path. You turn the corner at this, and you do see that while a few of your pursuers were thrown off, several others were not. And you see torchlight and fanatic cries in the darkness getting closer. Marius, what are you doing now?
Marius will. We're getting close to the barracks. Can I see it at all now? Or?
You're getting close. You don't quite see it yet, but you know it's up ahead.
Okay. Do I see like an alleyway that would kind of throw off our pursuers that I can duck into? Or
You trying to give a stealth check?
trying to see if I can see anything, perception check,
Oh, I see. Yeah, I see what's going on here. I see exactly what's going on here. Go ahead and give me a perception test.
I gotta go with what I'm good at.
Of course.
That's a 25 out of 57.
Yes, it is. So you see, Marius, that the path you're on normally does, in fact, lead you straight to the barracks. However, it looks like somebody, who knows who, one of the denizens of this shanty town, has decided that they were going to erect like a makeshift meat stand in the center here, and they've taken some of the wall of a nearby shack and have kind of barricaded it to form a countertop and some kind of grilling apparatus so that they could cook some food, which is blocking the path directly to the barracks. But with that many success levels, you see a gap to the right where the paneling was removed, and you're able to direct Seamus over, and you're able to slip through. And as you do, you hear the cries out of the fanatics behind you, and you see the barracks up ahead. It's nothing to look at. It's nothing fancy by any means. It does look a little bit better than most of the shanties. It is, first off, it's made out of decent wood. It doesn't look like it's high quality made. There's several gaps in the wall where the wood was not exactly fitted together properly. The door's a little crooked. There's only a couple windows that are shuttered tight. And there are two men standing outside with halberds crossed across the entrance of the front door. One of them, apparently it looks like he might be dozing off. The other is looking out and spots the two of you immediately. Looks at you. Calls out. Marius! Bragadine, is that you?
Yes. Hurry. You must hide us. Rally the men.
Rally the men. Yes. And before he goes to turn, you see two streaks flash, a glimmer of steel
son of a bitch!
A dagger sprouts
It's Queek.
from his neck. A dagger sprouts from the dozing man's neck, and both of them slump back against the barracks wall. And that's where we're going to end tonight's episode of Rise of the Forsaken.
Wait. Marius, before it goes, he just kind of stops and goes, son of a bitch.
Yes, of course.
That's where we'll end it.
That's where we're ending.
Queek head taker, you bastard.
Bastard. So, we had a braggadine-free night. Got interesting. You finally all met back up. That was nice. So we'll see how this goes. Technically, the party's still split. So we'll see also how that goes next session. But we do the favorite moments of the night. So, favorite moments from the cast and crew. Let's start with old Marius Wolf. Did you enjoy anything about tonight?
Yeah, I did. There's a couple of points that I enjoyed. I enjoyed the monster battle between Oro and during the adventure. I wanted some more description on it. I'm not gonna lie.
It was like 5 seconds.
I know. I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna go into a big monster battle scene now. I can't wait. And it didn't happen. But I was excited nonetheless. I know. I also enjoyed. This is at Seamus' expense, but when Three Fingers came in, and apparently, she found me attractive.
Ooh,
I don't get to use that skill very often.
That's true. Doesn't get to use very often.
It was
because everybody finds you ugly.
I was like, oh yeah, I've done it.
100 and what, like 5 episodes?
It's true.
Finally did.
Yeah, I know.
Finally did it.
I like that it has to be stated like, yes, this person finds you attractive. It is like, yes. I know they do.
Yes, of course they do. So yes, it's interesting.
Oh.
How about old Doob? How about Seamus McCready? Favorite moments?
I enjoyed the part where Marius was praying with Father Lichter because my plan with Catch was to to role play with him, which I assumed he rolled higher on my charm. That's why
he did. Unfortunately,
found out my lie.
Mm-hmm.
My plan was to lure him back to the cemetery in the town.
Ooh.
And take him to Mama McGreedy's grave, and then try to kill him.
Yeah, that would have been good. That would have been good.
It would have been good, the two opposite characters, Marius is praying with Father Lichter while Seamus is, bashing someone's head in a graveyard.
Indeed.
Marius doesn't deserve that corruption.
Oh, he's got it. But, I did like the banter with old Seamus and Mr. Catch. Had some reveals tonight, so there were some more reveals. There was actually quite a few more reveals, actually. Got some.
I forgot about those Tarkag wounds.
Yep, that's a thing. He still has them, obviously. So there's a lot of stuff going on with Catch. Maybe several reasons why he's the way he is. There's also some stuff on Three Fingers got revealed. So. A lot of things are bubbling towards the surface, and I am enjoying it thoroughly. Unfortunately, not as much transpired that I wanted to, mostly because Braggadine's not here. So it will happen soon, though. It will happen next session, I'm sure, when he humbly returns. But
this Skaven, bro, he's out of control.
He's out of control. He's out of control. Coming for you.
Why didn't he take out any of those guys chasing us? He just bided his time and waited.
I think maybe he's just trying to kill you two. So that might be a thing.
Oh, they're about to make it. I want to kill these guys now.
Yeah.
Bastard. Quick.
It's going to be great.
Quick.
It's going to be great. So, yes.
Running around there with Skulls bouncing on his back. Damn it.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn it.
Start hearing the rack moving. It's gonna be great. But yeah, as far as a viewer decision is concerned, I would like to know how many of Bragadine's bold men lie sleeping within the barracks currently. They don't necessarily all have to be in here. Many of them could be on patrol. Many of them could, in fact, already be in Mr. Gold's service, since they were pledged to him to begin with. So there may not be as many people inside as the Fellowship hopes for. We'll see, though. We'll see.
Let's
So
catch a break.
Maybe
You're at the mercy of the
60,
fans.
80?
You're at the
That's
mercy of the
not
fans.
big,
They don't have that many people.
What
We'll
the
see.
hell, bro?
We'll see.
Are they taking a permanent nap or just
Permanent nap. Yeah, they're all taking dirt naps within. That's gonna be an option as well.
Damn it.
No.
Come on, they're all dead.
Yeah, they're all
God.
dead. No. Yeah.
It's like some
Fantastic.
divine presence wants to punish us.
I don't know who it is. Could be me, maybe. But man, that's going to be the game for the night, though. This has been Rise of the Forsaken. Thank everybody for watching, especially if you made it this far. Do make sure to vote in the viewer decision. Don't go crazy, guys, but you're going to just because I said not to. So we'll see how it goes. But regardless, I've been Jumbo Thick. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode.